Let's continue with some more news. And Vzгляд newspaper is reporting that, President of US, Donald Trump, expressed confidence in Russia's victory in Ukraine. And why am I not surprised? Or any of us? Of course, Russia will win, and winning this in this proxy war that West is waging against Russia, globalist collective West. And it is good if Donald Trump is no longer hiding behind some false narratives and they are saying this openly. This is definitely a good development. But anyways, let's go through some details here. US President Donald Trump shared his opinion on the outcome of their conflict in Ukraine in a conversation with European leaders and dear friends. You remember when Putin had a conversation with the Trump, phone conversation, afterwards, Trump made a call with Zelensky and a number of European leaders, and then information broke that these European leaders, among them Prime Minister of Italy, I believe, Meloni, President of France, Macron, Prime Minister of UK, Starmer, who else was there? Chancellor of Germany, Merz, and for whatever reason, Finnish leader, Stud or whatever his name is, was, joining this phone conversation and exchange of opinions simultaneous, in which Zelensky was also participating. And the news was that European leaders were shocked by the statements of Trump. And I said straight away, while reporting on this, that most likely a number of media outlets will soon publish information about some details of this conversation. And earlier we had a report that Trump told European leaders that Washington is against additional sanctions on Russia. And now this report that during this conversation, Trump stated that he is confident that Russia is winning this conflict. Interesting. That could shock European leaders. That could be shocking for them because, as far as I understand, they are still trying to push narrative that they can achieve some strategical defeat of Russia, and by doing so, their hope is that somehow they will keep US in this proxy war. But clearly, Washington has some different ideas. It seems like, based on at least the statements that we are hearing from a number of high-ranking US officials. Anyways, let's go through some more details. As Bloomberg reports, citing its sources, Trump expressed confidence in Russia's victory in the conflict in Ukraine during the phone conversation with European leaders. The report noticed that Trump made his interlocutors understand his point of view regarding their prospects for ending hostilities. As the Vzгляд newspaper reported earlier, Vladimir Putin expressed his commitment to finding a fair solution to the conflict in Ukraine in a conversation with Donald Trump. Okay, we all know this. Some details, at least, of Trump-Putin conversation. But this is, I think, interesting news because seems like this rift between Washington and globalist controlled capitals in Europe is accelerating, little by little maybe, but still accelerating. And this is a good news. This is a good news because I think if US leadership, current leadership, will pull out their country from this proxy war that globalists are waging against Russia, then obviously conflict will end much faster than otherwise. And when it comes to attempts of globalist controlled capitals in Europe to keep US in this proxy war, we have this report, for example, that European leaders do not believe still that the Trump administration will stop arms exports to Kiev as long as Europe and Ukraine itself pays for them. This was reported by Wall Street Journal, and I don't know, maybe this attitude of European leaders have some basement, but yet again, if Washington is serious about de-escalating with Moscow, and I said many times before, why America First forces in US would like to de-escalate with Moscow, then probably Washington will gradually decrease its involvement in this proxy war, and maybe in a couple of days' time or a couple of weeks' time, Trump will make decision to hold any weapon supplies to Kiev regime or intelligence sharing. I think this is a possibility. So therefore, I think European leaders are a little too optimistic in regards to US. I don't think they will succeed in keeping US further engaged in this proxy war against Russia. I think Washington has some other plans, and they have to find some ways to de-escalate with Moscow, and fast, because as I said many times in previous updates, I think US is on a trajectory towards military confrontation with Iran, unfortunately, and therefore, to make sure that Russia will not seek revenge on US and will not use potential conflict between Iran and the US as an opportunity to achieve this revenge while sending to Iran whatever is necessary, weapons, intelligence, and so on. To make sure that Russia will not seek revenge on US, at least on the state level, let's say this way, Washington definitely needs to de-escalate with Moscow, agree on the concessions, and maybe even sign up, which may not be disclosed, by the way, for public, but Washington definitely has to agree on the concessions to compensate for all the harm that was done to Russia, Russian citizens, as a result of US's direct involvement in this proxy war against Russia. It was not even proxy war, by the way. We call it still proxy, but these countries, these NATO countries, they are directly involved. Their militaries are on the ground, and they are sending weapons in non-stop regimes. But we still call it proxy. Okay, but anyways, of course, Washington will have to agree on the concessions. And after that, some agreement might be even signed between Moscow and Washington. That may also could not be disclosed. Maybe that agreement will be classified, that two capitals are obligating each other not to support on a state level countries that are either one or either other, Washington and Moscow, are engaged against militarily. Theoretically speaking, that may be possibility. Of course, if this country is not in a strategical alliance with either of these two, US or Russia. If Washington attacks country that has a mutual defense pact with Russia, obviously that will mean attack on Russia, so Moscow will retaliate, and it works other way also, right? But some third countries that have no such strategical agreements, that's a different story. So in any ways, I think I spoke about this topic too much in previous updates, and no need to repeat myself. So US needs to de-escalate with Moscow, and therefore I think Europeans are a bit too optimistic that they will manage to keep US in. No, I don't think so. But on this topic also, dear friends, TASS News Agency is reporting that German Chancellor Merz wants to keep the US in the Ukrainian peace process, formally peace process. In reality, in this proxy war, we all understand that. So maintaining US participation in their peace process in Ukraine has become one of the foreign policy priorities for the German government under Chancellor Friedrich Merz. To this end, he proposed holding a technical meeting on this issue between European countries and the United States. Bild newspaper reports, and yet again, this is not about peace. This is about further prolongation of this proxy war. And I think at this point, at least some groups in U.S. administration, Trump, Witkoff, Tulsi Gabbard, maybe Pat Hexet also, and some others, they clearly understand what is going on, and seems like this group that is for de-escalation with Russia is seems like are winning now over the neocons, and based on statements that, for example, Marco Rubio was making last several days, who is known to be a neocon, right? One may assume that even Marco Rubio is shifting its stance and moving closer to this group that I mentioned, that is for the escalation with Russia. Maybe, I mean, maybe my reading of big picture is mistaken. I don't know, but that's how I see the things. So therefore, I don't think Merz or any other leader of European NATO member state, puppets of the globalists, basically, will succeed to keep US in this proxy war against Russia for much longer. I think maybe a couple of weeks, and the US will finally walk away from this proxy war. But yet again, let's see. These globalist controlled regimes in Europe are capable of many things, including terrorist activity and all sorts of provocations, and they might resort to that in attempt to keep US ill in this proxy war. So Washington and Moscow should be careful, and the intelligence services of two countries should cooperate in a big time to make sure that globalist puppet regimes in Europe will not succeed in their attempts to divert US from current trajectory in regards to this conflict, which is moving towards the escalation with Moscow. TASS news agency is also reporting that, according to, yet again, Western media outlet, Trump rejects EU offer of unconditional ceasefire in Ukraine. This was originally reported by Wall Street Journal. And let's go through this news now. Well, that's interesting. There was some technical issue, kind of. So, White House Chief of Staff Donald Trump has rejected the proposal by the EU leaders for an unconditional ceasefire as a result of talks on Ukraine in the Vatican. This was reported by by Wall Street Journal. And if true, by the way, if true, this is one more indicator. That current leadership of US is on trying at least to pull out US from this proxy war. And when it comes to upcoming second round of talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegations, reports are coming in that this meeting will take place in June in Vatican. Dear friends, I hope you like my work and want to help preserve this independent media project, and if so, let me go through several means that can be used for assistance. First is a PayPal platform. Once you click on PayPal link under my videos in description box and in the pinned comment, this account will open, which belongs to my wife, Anna Philipson Caballero, so feel free to donate through this account. Second way is a Boosty platform, where you can send a tip or donate, which is basically the same. And also you can become a Patreon for the project. You can subscribe to my page while choosing your level of support. Third way is a Patreon platform, where I already have 370 extra content videos. You can also choose your level of monthly support from $5 to $10, $20, $50, $100 and become a Patreon, or you can use another feature that Patreon has, which is access to each videos for a certain amount of money. Now this is $3, so you can access to any video for $3. Relatively new feature that Patreon adopted, and it might be helpful also if for whatever reason you don't want to become a monthly supporter. And there is another way, which is a Rumble platform, dear friends. Whenever I have a pre-planned live stream or live stream is on air, you can become a premium subscriber. You can give premium subscription to other members of the community, or you can use a rant feature that Rumble has, which is basically similar to super chat on YouTube. All the links, dear friends, all the links to all these platforms that I just show you are under my videos in the description box and in the pinned comments, including address to crypto wallet. I hope this video will be useful in case you are considering support for my work and this media project. Many thanks to all the members of our community who already supported. Have a wonderful day and take care.